Imagine this: the vibrant and diverse city of San Francisco, with its scenic streets and neighborhoods. Silicon Valley thrives with its brilliant minds and creative startups. Here you can immerse yourself in its unique culture, or get inspired by the rapid innovation. But hold on, there's something hidden in the dark that will shock you. The last thing you imagine is espionage happening right amid this city and its bustling hub of technology. It is not your regular American espionage. This is all about sneaky and undercover spy operations. While everyone is obsessed over the latest tech innovations and the trendiest apps in the market, there's a clever game being played in the shadows of the Bay Area. Foreign spy agencies are involved, trying to steal some juicy secrets to get a step ahead in the global game of power. When we think of espionage in the United States, our minds often wander to mysterious foreign spies sneaking around Washington, D.C. or New York City. However, foreign spies have been infiltrating Silicon Valley for quite some time now. According to former U.S. intelligence officials, the situation is getting worse. With the increasing aggressiveness of Russia and China, coupled with the concentration of science and technology companies in the region, there is an epidemic of espionage happening on the West Coast. What's concerning is that many of the targets are not prepared to combat this growing threat. In fact, many are not even ready to believe that it is true. Unlike the East Coast, where spies primarily steal diplomatic secrets or political intelligence, the espionage activities on the West Coast have a different focus. Silicon Valley's open, creative, and urban work culture has given rise to a new kind of espionage that is subtle and non-traditional. Former intelligence officials describe it as a form of intelligence collection more connected to business secrets. These spies have become a part of the everyday workplaces in the Bay Area. In fact, 20% of all the FBI's counterintelligence cases related to intellectual property theft originated from this region. Espionage isn't limited to economic interests alone. Political intelligence snatching is also prevalent. China, for instance, is not only after U.S. technology secrets, but also heavily invested in traditional political intelligence operations in California. There have been cases of Chinese intelligence recruiting staff members from the offices of U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, who then reported back to China about local politics. The FBI director has even acknowledged the significant threat posed by Chinese spying, calling it the most pervasive and difficult challenge the country faces. What makes the situation even more complex is that many foreign intelligence collectors in the Bay Area don't fit the traditional spy image. They may not be based out of embassies or consulates, but could be associated with state-owned businesses or research institutes. Chinese officials often coerce or threaten Chinese nationals working or studying in the area to provide valuable technological information. It's a situation where well-intentioned individuals are manipulated by their home government. As Silicon Valley's influence expands globally, the spy war in the area will only intensify, with consequences reaching far beyond Northern California. However, it's unclear whether the Bay Area is adequately prepared to handle this escalation and new tactics. Tech companies, particularly startups, lack incentives to report potential espionage, and businesses and universities often overlook the threat or fear of being accused of stereotyping if they implement stringent security measures. If we want to understand the world where Russia and China are ramping up their spying activities against the United States, we must pay attention to what's happening in San Francisco. The city has been a focal point for Russian intelligence since the Cold War. Over time, Russian operations have become bolder, especially in targeting valuable and sensitive technologies developed by companies in the region. Even with the closure of the San Francisco consulate, Russian intelligence continues to find ways to gather information in Silicon Valley. One notable mechanism has been the involvement of Rusnano USA, a Russian government-owned venture capital firm focused on nanotechnology. The suspicions extend to interactions between Rusnano USA employees and suspected Russian intelligence officers. Russia also uses some old-school methods right here in the area. Intelligence officials have this suspicion that Russian spies are getting local high-end Russian and Eastern European prostitutes in on their game. It's like a classic Russian movie called the honeypot maneuver, where they use these ladies to gather information from and on tech and venture capital big shots in Silicon Valley. These sex workers have been targeting executives at fancy bars and nightclubs like the Rosewood Sand Hill, a super posh hotel close to a bunch of important financial firms in Silicon Valley. Thursday nights there are notorious for wild hookups. And there's another spot called the Redwood Room, a fancy bar in downtown San Francisco's Clift Hotel, where similar things have been happening. According to a former official, these ladies might be reporting back to the Russian intel officers. China poses a significant long-term threat, given its vast resources and patient approach. California, with its economic and political significance and sizable Chinese-American community, is of great interest to Chinese intelligence. San Francisco is especially attractive to them due to its potential for targeting community leaders and local politicians who may rise to higher offices in the future. Chinese intelligence activities in the city have become increasingly sophisticated, with instances of successful recruitment and influence over local politics. The Chinese Communist Party has been known to organize political junkets and use them for political influence operations, targeting individuals in positions of power or influence. In 2014, a Chinese spy, Walter Liu, who was a San Francisco local, sold DuPont Company's formula for the white paint to a Chinese state-owned business person. He was convicted for economic espionage, but the Chinese company had already saved thousands of millions of dollars in research and development expenses. What is even more challenging to deal with such espionage crimes is that oftentimes companies do not report it. They are afraid that it will ruin their reputation and depreciate their shareholder value. It is also a matter of being embarrassed about not being able to protect their intellectual property. Israel is also in the mix here in the Bay Area, but things get a bit complicated. As per this one former intelligence official, Israel has this culture that makes it easy for them to snatch up targeted companies. They use the information they gather locally to persuade or give incentives to Israeli firms to buy specific startups or tech companies based in Silicon Valley. This tactic rings a bell because French intelligence used to do something similar back in the 2000s, according to those former officials. The situation in San Francisco and Silicon Valley demands a comprehensive response from both the government and the private sector. Law enforcement agencies, intelligence organizations, and tech companies must collaborate closely in identifying and countering espionage threats. Increased funding and resources should be allocated to bolstering counterintelligence efforts, enhancing cybersecurity measures, and conducting thorough background checks on individuals with access to sensitive information. Educational institutions should also play a vital role in raising awareness about espionage risks and promoting a culture of security and vigilance. Training programs and workshops can be implemented to educate students, researchers, and employees about the tactics used by foreign intelligence services and how to safeguard valuable intellectual property. Furthermore, public-private partnerships can be established to facilitate information sharing and collaboration between government agencies, tech companies, and research institutions. By fostering a culture of trust and cooperation, all stakeholders can work together to identify and mitigate espionage threats effectively. It's important for tech companies, particularly startups, to prioritize security and establish robust protocols for reporting and addressing potential espionage incidents. Incentives can be provided to encourage companies to report suspicious activities without fear of negative consequences or reputational damage. Government entities can offer support in terms of expertise, resources, and legal protections to ensure that companies feel empowered to take appropriate action. Tech companies should be coached on how to spot vulnerabilities that an employee might have, and then figure out ways to shield both the individual and the company from those vulnerabilities being exploited by autocratic governments like China and Russia. The main vulnerabilities that can be exploited by an autocracy are if someone is a citizen of that autocracy, if they have assets in that country, if they do business with one, or if they have family members living there. Most often than not, it is the family vulnerability that is exploited. However, it should never be made into an ethnic stereotype. The government used to be all worked up about state-owned enterprises and those closely connected to them, such as Chinese phone brands, but now it's all about what they call the hybrid threat. It's about autocracies sinking their claws into people and essentially making them act as if they're an extension of that government. Finally, international cooperation is paramount in combating espionage in the digital age. The United States should work closely with its allies to share intelligence, coordinate investigations, and develop strategies to counter foreign espionage activities. Multilateral initiatives such as joint cybersecurity task forces and intelligence sharing agreements can significantly enhance the collective ability to identify and respond to threats. In conclusion, San Francisco and Silicon Valley are facing a growing epidemic of espionage, with foreign intelligence services targeting valuable intellectual property, trade secrets, and political intelligence. To effectively combat this threat, a comprehensive and collaborative approach is necessary, involving government agencies, tech companies, educational institutions, and international partners. By prioritizing security, increasing awareness, and fostering cooperation, the Bay Area can strengthen its defenses. We have reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the in-depth analysis of the real-life spy wars happening around us. If this is something that you love to learn more about, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more content like this. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. If you have any more epic video ideas or topics you would love to see me explore, drop them in the comments below. Share this video with your friends and I will catch you next time with another video.